So, when you're writing for an academic paper, or any paper for that matter, you may want to organize your paragraphs in a certain way. And so we're going to be looking at a particular structure of paragraph that might be helpful. This one is called the 7-sentence paragraph. Now, that doesn't mean that paragraphs should all be 7 sentences. It doesn't even mean that the best length of a paragraph is 7 sentences. Your paragraph should be as short or as long as it needs to be to develop the ideas that you're trying to get across within it, right? But 7 sentences might be a good rule of thumb, especially if you're practicing, if you're starting out, if you're trying to fill up the word count, and you're trying to dot all your I's, cross all your T's, include everything that needs to be included for a coherent paragraph and a well-structured paragraph. So what are the 7 sentences? So the first sentence is the topic sentence. So you always want the reader to know right away what the paragraph is going to be about, so that when they're reading it, they're not confused, and so that anytime they do get confused, they can go back to the first sentence, read it, and realize, oh, that's what this paragraph is supposed to be about. The topic sentence also wants to relate this paragraph to the big picture. So you relate the topic to the thesis. The thesis is the main idea of the whole paper. The topic sentence is the main idea of that paragraph. Next, what do you put? In sentence 2, we want some kind of concrete detail, perhaps, like outside evidence, outside of your text, to support your topic sentence. And we want that properly cited, of course. Then, sentences 3 and 4 can be your own commentary about what you just quoted. So you have a topic sentence. The topic sentence is going to be some reason you support the thesis. Then you're going to have a concrete detail giving evidence of the thesis. And then you're going to comment on the evidence. You're going to comment on how that evidence relates to the reason that you support the thesis. So the concrete detail and how it relates to the topic. So that's your own commentary. Now, you also might add a second concrete detail in sentence 5. So if you don't think that one detail is enough, then you might add a second here to reinforce, right? It's better to have 2 sources than one, because 2 sources, you're sort of double checking to see if more than one person believes that. So adding a second detail, a second set of evidence from an outside source. And then using some more commentary in sentence 6, some more commentary explaining that evidence, that detail. And then finally, in the last sentence, sentence 7, you're going to want to conclude. Have a concluding sentence. So what is that going to do? You probably want that sentence to do 3 things. You want it to paraphrase the topic. So maybe a little summary, maybe a restatement of the topic. You also want it to transition to the next paragraph. So you should have a hint of what's coming in the next paragraph from the last sentence of the previous paragraph. Also, you might want to provide a philosophical statement. This says a philosophical statement on the universal condition of humankind. You don't need to necessarily go that deep, but you might have a general statement of why this is important. Why is it important to your thesis and topic, but why is it important generally? Why should you care as a reader? All right, so let's now look at a sample of what one of these paragraphs might look like. So, The tropical rainforests are among the most biologically diverse communities in the world. So already we have a topic, and it's framed actually as a thesis, a claim that we're trying to make. Tropical rainforests are the topic, and we're going to claim that they're among the most biologically diverse communities in the world. How can we support that claim of diversity? According to the Rainforest Alliance, the forests of the neotropics are the habitat for tens of thousands of plant and wildlife species, as in a single square mile of tropical forest in Rondônia, Brazil, which is home to 1,200 species of butterflies, twice the total number found in the United States and Canada. So here we have a direct support of that first sentence. We're quoting the Rainforest Alliance, which sounds like an organization that knows a lot about rainforests, and we're saying specifically what they have to say about diversity. They counted the number of species, and we know from that count that it's more diverse in one rainforest than in all the United States and Canada, which is pretty amazing and supports the thesis very well, right? So now we're going to have some commentary. These amazing communities depend on each part being intact in order to function properly, but are being destroyed at an alarming rate. Not only are scientists concerned about the habitat loss, but other environmentally aware people are alarmed as well. So these are commentary on the subject of diversity, specifically on the fragility of diversity, right? Now here we have a second supporting detail, a bit of evidence to add. Over several decades, even in protected areas, only 2% of the habitat increased, while 85% suffered declines in surrounding forest cover. So this supporting detail somewhat supports the commentary that was being made directly before, right? It's supporting the claim that the rainforest is being destroyed by saying that only 2% has increased while 85% has suffered declines. So that directly supports the claim before in the commentary that it's being destroyed, that the rainforest is being destroyed. So now we have some commentary on this evidence. So many rainforest conservationists debate the leading cause of deforestation, regardless of which is the major cause. Logging, slash and burn farming, and resource exploitation are destroying more of the rainforest each year. So this comments a little bit more on this supporting detail, right? We don't really have in this paragraph, well, we have a lot of things that we discussed. We have a good thesis statement, then we have some supporting evidence, we have a commentary, and then we have support for that commentary. Finally, we have commentary on that support. But I would say we don't really have a good summary, final concluding sentence here. We could have wrapped it back to the beginning and discussed diversity and why diversity is important, why rainforests are important, all that good stuff. And we could have transitioned to a future paragraph, if there is one, right? So,